Do you think there's a chance that Trump would end up deporting Prince Harry?
Well, I think Prince Harry is very well situated in California. I think it suits his worldview, and I think he should stay there. I'm not sure we uh, we need him back in the UK at the moment.
And Liz Truss, in 10 Years to Save the West, you write about what was an incredible moment, the transition of power from Boris Johnson to yourself, which was soon overwhelmed by the fact it was the last public engagement of Queen Elizabeth II. Can you talk a little bit about that meeting?
Of course, I didn't know it was going to be Queen Elizabeth's last meeting, and it was a huge honour to be appointed by her into the role as Prime Minister. The first Prime Minister she asked to form a government was Winston Churchill. She'd been on the throne for 70 years, and we had a very lively meeting. We talked about current affairs. We talked about the challenges of the job as Prime Minister. She told me to pace myself, and she wished me all the best. She was very jovial. And at the end of the meeting, she said, "I look forward to seeing you next week." And although she was physically frail and had to struggle to stand up, I had no idea that that would be my last meeting with her. And what a terrible what a terrible. I mean, I did think, why me? Why 2 days after I had become Prime Minister do we now face this national mourning? People in Britain, she was so beloved and such part of our lives and had been the fabric, a part of our lives for 70 years. And to have that responsibility was very daunting. It was very daunting, but I like to think that, she appointed me. After that, she felt that, that things had been dealt with, and she was just so devoted to doing her duty. I could see that. That day.
Well, it was fascinating because sources have, close to the late Queen, have said that she did want to hang on. She wanted to hang on because, of course, the Tory leadership contest she knew had been running for some weeks. I think the initial plan was that she was going to try and travel down to London, and then the compromise had to be made that you travelled to Balmoral to see her. But you were given no warning that perhaps the Queen might not make it, because Boris Johnson has written in his book that he was aware that she was suffering from cancer. Were you?
Yes, but it wasn't sort of viewed as something that would be imminent. She wasn't well, but it was certainly not something that I had expectations she would be there for months, if not years, not days.
And then, of course, the next day, literally the next day, she pulls out of the Privy Council meeting, which was going to be conducted on Zoom, and I think she was confirming effectively lots of your appointments. So at that point, are you told, okay, this could be serious?
Yes, that was, I mean, having to go to Balmoral was a bad sign. But when I got there, she was full of life. Certainly, once we heard that she wasn't able to attend the Privy Council, that was a further bad sign. And the news just kept getting worse and worse. And the next day we had a statement on energy. And it was during that statement I was passed a message, which was pretty much get out of the chamber now. We need to start preparing. So my understanding is that she had started deteriorating really almost immediately the day after my last meeting with her.
I just want to tell you first that you must not eat breakfast until you learn about caloric bypass. Your breakfast is setting you up for the entire day to either gain weight or lose it. The term breakfast literally means to break your fast that you started the night before. About 4 hours after you eat dinner, your body switches from the nutrients we get from food to the stored glycogen we have in our bodies. Once glycogen stores are depleted, typically after 8 to 12 hours of fasting, the body shifts to burning fat for energy. Fatty acids are released from fat stores where they are converted into ketone bodies through a process called ketogenesis. Then, when you eat breakfast in the morning, the body starts the cycle again. So this is where the caloric bypass comes into play. Dr. Gundry, a heart surgeon in California, learned that if you break your nightly fast with something called MCTs, or medium chain triglycerides, you can actually keep burning fat throughout the day and use it for energy. But there are specific types of food that contain these MCTs. Using this breakfast breakthrough, he was able to lose 70 pounds just through diet. And guess what? He did this in his 60s. You can find out all about it and his exact method by going to thehealthyfat.com/outspoken. That's thehealthyfat.com/outspoken. Or you can just click on the link in the description box below. Or if you're watching, we have the QR code on screen right now. It is important to remember that everybody's body processes fat differently. And it all depends on your unique metabolic type, which is why in the video he released for my special viewers, he talks all about it. It really is quite fascinating, and it might just change the way you think about your health. So I'm going to give you that address once more, thehealthyfat.com/outspoken, or click on the link in the description box below. Obviously, the announcement of that energy package was a big deal. That was one of your first big set pieces of legislation. Had you been warned before you went into the chamber that day, or was the first you knew when you were handed that note?
I think it was a situation that was under constant watch. So we had the meeting with the officials who were preparing the London Bridge project so that everybody was ready. But we'd been ready for years. As Foreign Secretary, I was told to always take a black dress with me in my suitcase in case something happened while I was overseas. So everybody in government had been schooled that something might happen at any moment.
And then, of course, King Charles III, you're his first Prime Minister. But is it true, Liz, that you told him not to attend COP?
No, that isn't true. And it's not the role of the Prime Minister to tell the monarch which conferences they can attend. I mean, I think I'm publicly not a fan of COP. And in my book, I suggest that all COPs should be cancelled. But I certainly wouldn't be telling the king which conferences he should go to or not go to.
Okay, and I just finally, Liz, have to ask you about this article which has just been released by the Mail Online, Donald versus Harry. And it writes, Prince Harry faces release of confidential immigration files after President-elect Trump vowed he wouldn't protect him because he betrayed the Queen. Now, I know you're a big fan of the Heritage Foundation, as am I, and this is the case that the Heritage Foundation are taking through the US courts for Harry to have to release his immigration documentation. Was he honest about illegal drug use? Do you think there's a chance that Trump would end up deporting Prince Harry?
Well, I think Prince Harry is very well situated in California. I think it suits his worldview, and I think he should stay there. I'm not sure we need him back in the UK at the moment.
No, because we're trying to fight wokery, right, Liz?
Indeed. Well, I think California is where a lot of this stuff started.
Do you think he should get this security? Because that's where he is taking issue with the British government at the moment.
I don't know the ins and outs of that, to be honest, and I can't really say what his situation is, but
did you ever deal with him as
No, I
Foreign
didn't.
secretary.
No, I didn't. No, I didn't. And
So it wasn't
I
like
think
Boris, because
I met
Boris and
him
his.
and
Oh, sorry, you
I
go.
met him and Meghan once, I think, at a reception, and that was it.
What were they
I
like?
think he'd gone pretty quickly. Well, they were very friendly.
Well, look, 10 Years to Save the West is a must-read book. It has a whole load of new paperback chapters which cover the recent UK election, although I feel like there could be a whole new chapter now for what happened this week. But Liz, it's so brilliant to have you on Outspoken
Well, great
today.
to be on the show, Dan.
Thank you so much. We will speak
Thank
soon.
you.
Thank you so much for watching Dan Wootton Outspoken. Please click on my face just to the bottom left to subscribe to this brand new independent news source and turn on the notification bell so you'll be alerted to our brand new live shows, uncancelled interviews, and special royal episodes. Outspoken is also now available as a podcast, so you can listen to the show every weekday on the go, wherever you are.